Let's join our knitting for working in the round. I'm going to show you the most common way that you might join your knitting to work in the round. And then I'm going to show you a better way. So the most common way, you'll see your instructions might say cast on a certain amount of stitches and then join for working in rounds. Usually it'll also say place a marker for beginning of round. And that just lets you know where you started your round. So the first thing you'll do is just put your knitting together, and from the last stitch on the needle, you'll just begin knitting the first stitch on the needle, right? We've all seen that. You place your marker and you start knitting around. What this does though is that it can leave a gap right here where your marker is. It can leave a little gap right there. So, and there's nothing wrong with that. You can usually just take your tail, and when you weave in your tail, you can just close that any kind of gap that you might have seen. But this other method is actually by creating, what we're going to do is we'll create a new stitch. So let me cast on a new stitch, and I'm just going to use the long tail cast on method. But you can use any cast on method. I'm going to make sure that that new stitch I created is pretty tight. So I'm going to pull both ends of the yarn. And then I'm going to slip the first stitch that's on the left needle. I'm going to slip it onto the right needle. And then I'm going to pass this second stitch that's on the right needle. I'm just going to lift it up and pass it over the first stitch that's on the right needle. Just like that. I'm going to give the yarn another tug. And then I'm going to place the beginning of round marker. And we'll continue knitting as we do normally. All the way around. And you could see that there is no longer a gap right here. So you still have the same number of stitches on the needle, but you've just kind of closed the gap. And that's a nicer way to do it.